1 second. Okay, whenever you guys are ready.
On December 15, 1791, the Bill of Rights was ratified, amending the Constitution of the United States. The addition of the 10 amendments aimed to provide and protect rights and liberties to all citizens free from government restriction. Even today, the First Amendment continues to provide protection to citizens' rights free from government restrictions to an extent. The American Civil Liberties Union defines censorship as the suppression of words, images, or ideas that occurs when people succeed in imposing their political or moral values on others. Censorship is an example of how the First Amendment is restricted to protect government and citizen interests alike.
This leads one to the question, how does censorship of the media impact citizens of the United States? Through the evaluation of multiple factors which led to the censoring of information, one can see the effects of censorship through journalistic, cultural, educational, and political lenses.
Many media professionals face excess censorship by the United States government. Often, when journalists request interviews, their requests are denied. This takes time to communicate with sources, thereby leading to lost perspectives and the publishing of obsolete information. As discussed by Catherine Foxall in When Censorship Becomes a Cultural Norm, censorship could be becoming a cultural norm in our society as more and more cases such as these emerge. This can flood into other aspects of our daily lives. Societal perspectives are narrowed, thereby leading to independent thinking being discouraged. As independent thinking is discouraged, we move further and further away from a democracy. The adverse effects of censorship can be experienced firsthand by journalists.
When the First Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified, the amendment gave protection to those who were writing in newspapers. But as the times have changed and the internet was invented, the internet has allowed many new forms of communication, such as social media. So the change from newspapers to social media has changed the way that censorship occurs. These days, censorship can occur in region blocking, where users are prohibited from viewing certain pages depending on their geographic location, or spam robots, where comment sections are being flooded with access information that is not true to one specific person. So the views of real people are being obscured. When this happens, any news can be spread around and it hurts the reputation of the media as a whole. The current legislature out there does not protect the media against these new forms of censorship. The laws must be updated so that the media once again has its reputation restored and the citizens are protected.
Along with journalists and American citizens, academia is not exempt from excess censorship. Over 8,800 cases of excess censorship have happened in the past 30 years in academic institutions alone, according to Jeffrey Zolwin. A student journalist in Burlington, Vermont, wrote an article for the school's newspaper website about a teacher who received unprofessional conduct charges. The principal asked the student to take the report off the website. Eventually, the report was allowed back on the website. After the incident, the school decided to adopt a new censorship policy that is aligned with state laws aimed at protecting student journalists from abusive censorship. Along with new legislation being needed to protect other institutions from excess restrictions, existing legislation must be enforced. Censorship is immoral because it leads to small-mindedness among elementary and middle school students. The immorality of censorship is highlighted by its ability to oppress one's natural rights. Due to the individualistic nature of the United States, censorship is viewed as fundamentally wrong. Excess restrictions almost always lead to oppression.
In the past, the United States government has over-censored the media, developing an agenda that did not align with the founding principle of serving the citizen. For example, during the Nixon administration, excerpts from a commissioned government report known as the Pentagon Papers were leaked and published in the New York Times and Washington Post. The Pentagon Papers contained damaging information about the United States' activities in Vietnam. This withheld information led many to question the government's political and military affairs concerning the Vietnam War. President Nixon attempted to censor these papers by ordering a restraint on further publication of the excerpts as a means of protecting U.S. domestic and foreign interests concerning the war, according to OIEZ. Due to Nixon's order, citizens lacked further clarifying information, leading to an overall loss of political perspective and awareness within a country filled with turmoil and distrust.
Two possible solutions to excess censorship are self-censorship and legislation preventing the government from overstepping its boundaries. Private self-censorship involves censoring oneself rather than being censored by someone else. This can lead to punishment being avoided. This allows businesses to make policies that align with the beliefs of their targeted audience, which can make their policies less controversial. Additionally, in the educational setting, teachers can censor their own materials, excluding certain sources that may be controversial. However, private censorship has some drawbacks, as different people have different ideas on what should be censored. It is the personal decision of the American citizen and therefore cannot be monitored.
Legislation being implemented to limit the government from overstepping its boundaries is the best solution and answer to abusive censorship. However, this too has limitations. Limitations for this include the educational environment, where teachers have to censor information for students so that it is school appropriate and these sources are valid for research. Or when Congress goes to create this legislature, how will they decide how much censorship is enough to protect the citizens, or how will they decide when to release this information? If Congress releases information on holidays when not as many Americans participate in consuming media, the public will still not be as informed. When the public is not informed, it leads to small-mindedness due to the lack of overall real-world problems that they are exposed to. In light of these limitations, legislature is the best option.
Legislation is necessary to help maintain an open government, which would protect American citizens and give them more freedoms. Such legislation is supported by U.S. Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont and U.S. Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Both senators argued for an open government by proposing legislation that would increase the amount of government information available to the American public. Such legislation will likely be passed because both major American political parties support such legislation. Additionally, this would allow American citizens to gain more information about the United States government and its workings, and would allow citizens to keep the government further in check.
In conclusion, to protect national security and interests of citizens, some censorship is required. However, the government should be regulated to protect over-censorship. Self-censorship is too subjective and can be used as a method to increase censorship and form an oppressive government. So by establishing new legislation to limit the government's ability to censor, the American people once again have access to an unfiltered media. Thank you.
All right, let me give you all some questions here. Okay, Azucena, describe how the content of the team presentation was changed as a result of a group discussion.
So in the beginning, we wondered whether we should focus on the negative or positive effects of censorship in America. And through that and through our research through the different lenses, so Evan had the cultural lens, Brooke had the journalistic lens, and Ashley had the educational lens, and myself, I had the political lens. We were able to research, and in the end, we decided to focus on the negative effects. And as we researched, we finally came up with a solution that we thought would best suit all of our research and could actually be used in the real world, and we believe that through that we're able to collaborate very well.
Okay, very good. Ashley, how did the group decide to incorporate Evan's perspective or lens into your conclusions for the overall presentation?
We decided to incorporate Evan's perspective into our paper and into our presentation because he focuses on the citizens and how the citizens are affected by censorship, which really answers our question. And he provides information such as we censor each other when millions of people answer different comment sections. And in a way, we are censoring ourselves. And he also provided a lot of information on our other main solution, self-censorship, saying that one of the best ways to do it over the internet is to just not say certain things.
Okay, thank you. Brooke, in what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of this project?
I think we're all really busy and we all had to give up some time as far as deciding when we could meet. For example, after school, I had a host a meeting one day, but I had to leave it a little bit early so we could all meet in person.
Okay. Evan, having finished your project, what, if anything, do you consider to be a gap in your team's research? And if addressed, would make you feel more confident about your conclusion?
I think the group could go back and look into more of the how national security plays into everything, because if Congress releases too much information, that could endanger the lives of operatives at home or overseas. So I think we could expand on Azucena's paper and look into how the government fits into censoring and how that they need to have limitations imposed to protect us.
All right, thank you all very much. Yay!